Hello.
Hello. How we doing?
Super good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I like the purple.
Thank you.
I'm getting gushers out of my teeth because I'm eating fruit snacks.
I was just eating a bagel, so it's all good. Did you have
Mm,
a good week?
yeah. It's like a prep week. This will probably be our last podcast before we go to Worlds for Bella. So
Woohoo! That's awesome.
yes. So in serious prep mode, like trying to do a billion things. Are your kids getting ready to go back to school too?
Yeah. We have my second oldest is in a triathlon tomorrow, his first one, so we're gonna go do
Neat.
that. Yep.
Go
And then
Cooper.
yay. And then Cody and I are gonna go to a UFC in Salt Lake City. So
Mm, awesome.
it
Very
will be
cool.
fun.
We need to meet in Vegas and go to one of those. Granted, Salt Lake City's
Yeah,
good too, but
Salt Lake's closer. We're
yeah,
but yeah, Vegas would be fantastic for that as well.
it just seems more, I don't know, seems more fun in Vegas, but I don't know. Is it different? You've been to both. I've been to neither.
Did you just ask if Salt Lake City and Vegas were
No,
different?
well, like shut up. Going to see like a fight, like obviously it just seems like it would be a bigger deal, like more fun, more exciting in Vegas.
In Vegas, they do pretty good in Salt Lake City. Like
Yeah,
yeah, it was. I've only been to one, so I've only
yeah,
got
yeah.
that to measure it against. But it was really fun when we went. So
Excellent.
yeah, no no complaint. The only complaint is afterwards everything's shut down. There's nothing open. So
What time does it get out?
like 11.
Yeah, the only thing open in Utah after that is like
Nothing was open.
strip clubs. For some
No,
reason,
there was the only things open that offered food was there was like one pizza place that had a line that went around like 3 blocks
okay.
and this tiny little hole in the wall Venezuelan restaurant.
I bet it was amazing, though.
So
Did you go
it
there?
was, yes, we totally did. And like one of my husband's favorite fighters was in line for food there and it was awesome. So
Very nice. Very
it
nice.
was fun. Good times were had by all.
Awesome. Well, that sounds fun. I want to go.
Doesn't it? It
But
sounds just like Vegas, right?
yeah, you come out and nothing's open.
Nothing's
There's
open
nothing
and
to do.
hmm and everybody's super happy because all of the alcohol is like half of what it is anywhere else because it's Utah. And everyone's like, what is this place? You're like, it's Utah.
Oh,
That's what it is. It's Utah.
it is. It's
But it's
Utah.
clean and pretty.
Yeah. I miss a lot of aspects of it. I'm excited to come back and visit, but then there's things like that that are just kind of like silly that
Hmm.
I'm like, I can do without those silly little things that don't actually change
Yeah.
anything other than yeah, making it weird and hard to do what everybody's
Making
going to do anyways.
somebody feel good. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Um, okay, that also ties into what we were talking about today, actually, because as I was asking people for their horrible first date stories, which is,
Okay.
the topic of today, um, a lot of them had to do with
Drinking?
Mormon aspect of drinking of dating.
Oh, okay.
Like because a lot of the people that I asked were Mormon and
Well, probably because you got to go from the pool of people you know.
yep, I live in Idaho and Idaho is just North Utah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, they're interesting. They're
Yeah.
really
I'm
interesting.
excited. I'm excited. Okay.
Should we just jump right into it?
Yeah. Why not?
Is that
One
okay?
question. Should I take these off? That's driving me crazy. The fact that I can see
That's driving me
the
crazy.
ring light there. I'm gonna line it
If
up
it's
with my
bugging you, let it go.
pupil. A little bit. I'm like,
Okay.
I can still see without them, obviously. This one's just a
Yeah,
wee bit wonky, but I don't know. We'll
you're
see. We'll
good.
take them off for
They
a
look
bit.
cute on you though.
Thanks. I
I
do
like
like
them.
them. I think I used to wear glasses sometimes just because. Do you remember that I would do
I
that
remember.
sometimes?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did too. That little kiosk in the mall. We're like, oh, these are so cute.
Yeah. I mean, I used to
Yeah.
like because I didn't have braces as a kid, because I mean, just
Yeah.
thankfully, like before I had to get everything crowned, they
Hmm.
were pretty straight too. And I used to take like
Yeah.
gum or whatever I had in my mouth and just wrap it around my teeth like it was braces. Like, look, me too.
Uh-huh. Paper clip.
Yeah. Like,
Mhm.
don't know why I wanted
Okay,
glasses and braces so bad, but I
I
did.
did too. But okay, super, super gross story. You ready?
Ready?
It's really not that bad. Um, when I was a little kid, I wanted braces so bad. Like I had a little gap in my teeth, and I just really, really wanted braces. And I was a big, believer in answers to prayers. And I would pray for straight teeth. And so I was out on this
Uh-huh.
playground and I found somebody's retainer and I took it to my mom and I'm like, look, my prayers were answered. Like this is for me. And she's like, no,
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 no, it's not.
that's
Try it in.
that is no, luckily.
Okay.
But she just, I'm like, I remember being so mad. I'm like, no, this is for me. And she's like, sweetie. Like, no.
Are you saying God does?
I should have put it in my mouth. It could have been like, God's like, I was
Oh,
trying to bless
ugh.
you, but look, you didn't even take it.
Germaphobe over here. Not taking what I'm given. Okay.
Right? See if I try that again.
That is pretty gross,
Yeah.
actually. I'm really glad you didn't put
It's
it in your mouth.
me too. Me
That's
too.
what she
Thanks,
said.
Mom. I don't know if I ever thanked you, but thanks, Mom.
It
That's what she
wasn't it
said.
wasn't fitting
Ah,
anyways. Yeah.
uh, my kids say that all the time. Um, okay. So we're just jumping right into these horrible first
Yeah.
dates. Do you have any
I
horrible first date
mean,
stories?
I
Do you remember
have
dating? Like,
very little. Like I really didn't do tons of dating, you know?
yeah,
Like I was just on the hunt to get married, pretty much.
yeah.
And then it's funny because when I met Anthony, like I was so gung ho, like Mormon that I was like I like you, you're cute, I want to hang out with you, but like you're not a returned missionary, so this is a fling, you know. So I didn't start the same way he did because he says he was like love at first sight, which I would say it was for me
Yeah.
too, but there was just that, but you're not Mormon,
There's
so that
that
kind
stick
of,
in the spoke. Yeah.
like dang it, you're great, but
Golly gee.
um
Aw, crap.
I got a story from Anthony though for his
Yes.
yeah, for one of his early on dates with a girl that was the worst. He said he was kind of an awkward or he just didn't feel like he could dance because he never learned, so it felt awkward to him. And he went
Oh, I
with
know
this
that feeling.
girl to a dance and he gave it a try and she just started laughing hysterically, but dancing with him. Guess,
What?
guess who that was?
Was that you?
It was me at a church dance that I took him to. I mean, looking back, like, and I apologize. I was like, I'm sorry. I love when people dance. I love when people dance
Uh-huh.
poorly too. Like, I love when
Uh-huh.
they own it too. Like, if it's like, if the Carlton's what you got, I love if you bring it to the
Own it.
table. I'm still
Yeah.
gonna laugh because it makes me laugh and everything makes me laugh. But either way, it hurt his feelings, and I felt bad about that.
Oh,
But
but
also,
you're still here.
I know, but I really did like him, and because I didn't have like a real good grasp of like how to like convey that to a guy, like I didn't have a lot of dating experience before him, and it was probably because I was so weird and awkward around guys and did stuff like laugh at them for doing like regular things. I don't know.
How dare you be yourself, Rachel? I mean,
Well,
that's you
no,
should have you should have put on the mask and like,
it's no, I think that was the mask, the laughing at everything,
yeah.
the teasing everybody, because that's just how my family was and is, and it's really funny, and
Hmm.
but it's also sometimes like not the best way.
Gotta read the room.
Yeah,
Gotta
and
gotta know.
not everybody thinks teasing is love the way my family does. It's like if we're not like if we don't tease you, we probably don't like you.
That is true.
You know,
That is true.
because you can't, like, if you're teasing someone you don't know, then it's mean. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? But
Yeah,
we're
and it
just a
was never
teasy
like
type of
mean.
family.
It was never
No,
done out of like a desire to hurt somebody's feelings or
no, but
like
that
just
didn't mean that it
it's
didn't hurt
just
people's feelings sometimes. So
that's true.
okay to acknowledge that and be like, all right,
Yes. And I'm
maybe
glad
it's
that he
better.
saw past that and that you guys, you know, went
Yeah,
for other
yeah,
dates.
yeah. Of course. Well, that was me bringing him to a church dance too, and you know how ruckus those are, especially in a singles board outside of Utah. So
Did you know that Renee Zellweger went to a Mormon dance with somebody and because she was wearing a sleeveless dress, they wouldn't let her in, so she left?
I
Like
didn't know that,
way to
but
go,
now I
guys.
do.
Yep.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing. Did you
Yes.
know, and I don't know if this is true, but I think it might be, that Joel was born in Payson, Utah?
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
She did. Do you remember Megan Thompson?
Yes. She died of a brain tumor, correct?
Yeah. Jewel came and did a benefit concert for her family.
Oh, that's real neat.
So
Very cool.
yeah, pretty sweet. Anyways,
Yeah, random.
here's here's to you, Megan.
Yes. Do you
Um,
want to hear about some bad first dates outside of that?
yeah, do you want to hear about some bad first dates? Okay, the thing is, like everybody has bad first dates. And when I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably somebody's bad first date. Like,
I think that's mostly what I have is
Mhm.
I was the bad first date.
Yeah, like,
Because I think I had a good time most of the time. I just didn't take it as
right? I'm
seriously as
like, I
other
was
people did.
never,
Yeah,
but
it
I'm
was
sure
me.
there was some that I'm a legend some places for like, that was so bad. It wasn't just bad, it was so bad.
Oh.
Like,
I just had a
so,
memory of one that I'm wondering if it's on your list. Do you
okay,
remember? Do you
probably
remember
not.
when like you broke down on a date or something, and me and my parents picked you
Going,
and your date up?
why don't I
I don't know.
keep talking?
The reason why it stands out so much to me is we the three of us were in the back seat because my parents are driving. And I feel like this might have even been like almost college age. So it's not like we like needed them to be driving us or anything.
You were just
So
there.
that makes it awkward too. I think I was with them or something like that. And it ended up we could help you guys. Um, but we were talking about doing some sort of an event, and I was like saying I wanted to do a tournament ship. Do you remember
I
this?
do remember that. I don't
that
remember the
that's
day.
when it happened because your date, whoever he was, is the one who
Uh-huh.
was like going back with me about like, do you mean a tournament or a championship? And I'm like I couldn't hear what he was saying. I didn't get that I was putting them
Was he a
together.
short dude? Like,
I don't know. All I
kind of
know
reddish hair?
is that I said tournament ship and it triggered him, as it should, because that's not a word. But I was like, what do you? I couldn't get that he was telling me like that's not a word
Which,
until I did, and then it was really funny. But that's all I remember about that one. That was probably a pretty bad first date for him.
that's okay. I think Sue and John should have accompanied us on all of our dates. That would have been, that's Rachel's parents.
Those party animals, them.
No, the bad first date that pops up when I think of me and you is the one where you were not looking forward to going out with some guy in college and we were babysitting your nephew
I think I
and
intentionally babysat my nephew to make it awkward.
something.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, okay, let me let me go back just a little bit. A
Okay.
lot of these stories came because people didn't take no for an answer.
Or we didn't know how to say no, or
Hmm.
we were taught that
Yep.
if they, if they make that effort, like it's really hard to like put yourself out there, like that, it's nice to say yes, to give them a chance or whatever. And
Yeah.
guys in college got real ballsy, I think. Especially, I don't know if it's everywhere in college, but I feel like a few of the dates that I went on were just because like I ran into them like in a hall or something, sparked up a
Hmm.
conversation, and they asked me out, and I couldn't say no or something. Like I knew right off the bat, like
Hmm.
I'm like
This is not going to work.
I'm not interested. Like but I would still say yes, which is, like I feel bad for them too, like a waste of their time because
That's
exactly.
how it was taught to you, how dating was taught. You give
I know.
everyone a chance. Like if someone asks you to a school dance, you go with the first person that asks you, hands down, even if you don't want to go. Like that's them were the rules, right?
Yeah. And they were
Anyways.
annoying rules because I ended up
Hmm.
going with the same person who was very nice, but I went with the same person to my homecoming and my prom. And I never had any feelings for him, but because he had feelings for me, I couldn't have a chance to go with anybody else,
Hmm.
which kind of, that
Which
sucks.
really sucked because if
Yeah,
I
because it's
remember
like,
right, there were people you wanted to go with that wanted anyway.
yeah,
They wanted to go
I
with you.
had a different person who I could have went with each to each of those dances. Not that I was dating them because I didn't date anybody, but who had
Would have
asked
been
me who
more
I had
fun.
it exactly. But whatever is what it is. Like I still had fun on the dates. but it just also was just like, like, don't touch me, or like, oh, I just remembered
Please
I have
don't
an
get too
11
close.
o'clock curfew because like
Uh-huh.
I feel uncomfortable because now it's getting a little too like that time of night and
Yep.
everybody's kind of getting cuddly and I'm just like,
No, thank you. I'm out. Well,
yeah.
back to this one where we had your nephew with us. So I'm like, he was how old? Like 6,
No, I
the
think he
nephew?
was like 8 or 9.
Okay, so he was a little bit
Yes.
older.
Yeah.
And so we're like, we'll just go with you.
Well,
And
it was
so,
when we had it all planned out before because I'm like, okay, so when he gets here, I'm gonna be like, oh, like this just got sprung on me. I had to watch my nephew, but my best friend, we're just gonna make it like a double date, like it just kind of
I'll,
decide, oh, this just happened, and so that way I didn't have to go alone because I
uncomfortableness, but we
exactly because I really
couldn't
didn't
say,
know
I don't feel
him.
comfortable going with you alone. So,
Exactly, because you don't, that is rude, so you don't say that. So, anyways, if you want to go on,
yeah.
you may. Or do you want me to
So
tell the
the way
rest?
I the way I remember it was I'll skip over all the awkward conversation in the car because I only remember
Not
bits and
all of
pieces.
it. I remember. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, do you wanna add some?
Well, just that I remember him, like, I think he probably was like kind of funny, but like I had already decided no. So like
Mm.
I wasn't in like, ha ha ha, that's funny mode. So he was telling stories about like him and a friend of his walking hand in hand down the beach in California. Do you remember that? Just
Mhm.
to give the appearance they were gay, and that was the joke of it all. And it was just, I don't know. It was, I don't know. But either way, the funny part was that Lance from the back seat goes, I don't mean to be rude, but are you Gay? And I just, do you remember that?
Yes.
I just remember
Coming from
dying.
a little kid, it's just like,
Yes.
haha.
And that wasn't his only good zinger that day.
No, because when we ended up going to Cafe Rio, which is like amazing Mexican food,
Yes.
so good. Their burritos are phenomenal.
Your
Uh, we
salads.
go we go walking in and Lance is like, "Ugh, not Mexican food.
Yeah, you didn't
I
tell
don't
me
want
this was Mexican food.
let's go to Taco Bell
Yeah. So we went to Taco Bell.
where it's not Mexican food. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Apparently,
anyway.
yeah. No, but that poor guy.
I
Hopefully
don't think yeah.
he drew a little bit of like pleasure out of that date. There were some funny things that happened. I mean, he laughed when Lance yelled that too, and we were all laughing when we ended up at Taco Bell at his next request, because it was
Yes.
like, okay, sure, we won't go to that Tex-Mex. Let's go to this Tex-Mex. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's try that.
That'll be better.
That will be. But I don't remember seeing him again, so it must not have
No,
been magical.
thankfully, yeah, thankfully they would end
Yeah,
normally after that. I would awkward them away.
right. Well, with these ones, I want to be sure that we mention that I'm not trying to be critical of some of these people deserve a little criticism, but for the most part,
Yeah,
it's just
the
awkward.
new
And
skin guys.
oh my gosh, it could have been like a really good date with the right person at the right time or something, but
Yeah,
if you don't mesh, you don't mesh, right?
yeah.
So
If you don't mesh, don't say yes. It's
yeah.
okay to say no. And, like, I think
Mhm.
it's a good thing now that guys and girls can ask. So it's not so much pressure on, like, the guy must ask. And that's why you
Hmm.
must say yes, because
Yeah.
they had to come up with all the courage. No, why don't we just, like, acknowledge if we like someone and feel okay saying it, but also okay with, like, that not being their reality?
Lightly declining is also okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this first story is from actually my daughter. So
Okay.
she's in college right now, and when she was in high school, there was a guy that kept asking her out, and she would just politely say, "No, I'm not really interested.
Hmm.
I don't want to go." But he would keep asking.
Yeah.
And finally she said, "You know what? I've got 30 minutes after work on Sunday. That's your time. Like, if you really want to go on a date, I've already told you I'm not interested, but yeah, here's
I
30
got these
minutes. We
30
can."
minutes.
Mhm.
Okay.
She said, "After work, we can meet in the parking lot of my work, and we can go get hot chocolate."
Okay.
That's what she said. She laid it out. Yep. And she's like, I don't want this to go on any longer than it has to. So she went over to the hot chocolate place next to her work. She planned out exactly what she was going to order. And she's like, I'm just going to
Get
short
it
and
over
sweet,
with,
right?
basically. Yeah.
hmm So he shows up, meets her in the parking lot. She's still in her work clothes. She doesn't care.
Mhm.
And she's like, okay, let's go get hot chocolate. And he's like, oh, it's the Sabbath. I don't shop on the Sabbath. We do not, he's Mormon.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, then what's the plan? And he said, oh, we're having hot chocolate at my parents' house. And so he drives her out to his parents' house where he proceeds to make hot chocolate for her. And she just sits at the kitchen table and talks to his dad about high school and his high school experience. And she said, I just talked to his dad the whole time and then he took me back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That's
that's
I mean, I guess it was nice of her, but what I mean, there is a mentality kind of like the like
mhm,
keep pushing, keep asking, like show him you're
mhm.
the right guy type thing. And I think to a degree, like, I don't know. Like, because my
You
parents,
can try again, but after that, cool your jets.
yeah. Well, my my dad chased my mom and eventually
Yeah.
he gave up. And in the end, she's who asked him to marry her because he started like being like, okay, like if this isn't going anywhere, like maybe I could be interested in, some miss over there. She was like,
Yeah.
when are you gonna ask me again? Hold up. I don't like how this feels.
Yeah.
So
Like, wait a
there, I
second.
mean, there's an element of chase, but I think there was always a reciprocation. There was never like a
Well, and it wasn't a chase at all costs. If she was very forcefully being like, no,
yeah,
no, I don't know. There is a little gray area there sometimes. Like if you if you really don't want someone pursuing you, you need to be a little less than polite. You need to put on your big girl pants and be like,
I'm really not interested. Thanks for
I'm really not
asking.
interested.
This
I don't
is
want to be mean, but this is not going to happen.
I am
Yeah.
so proud of my Bella. She had a relationship with somebody that it didn't end well. I mean, it was not I mean, she's 14. It's not going to be a long-lived relationship, but in the way that it ends, the other person was pretty mean. And when they were like, "Hey, is there any chance we could try again?" She just sent them the song from Taylor Swift. We are never getting back together. They're still friends, but just kind of
No,
like no, that's
this
not
is
a
not a
thing.
thing that's going to
That's
happen
not a
again.
thing. That's past.
hmm
I was like, yes, like
Yeah,
sure.
I kind of like watching this next generation because there's a lot of things that like my daughters will do where I'm like, oh, you can do that?
I
Like,
know.
I
I
didn't know you could do that.
know. Did
Good
you
on you.
watch that video I sent you? The one from the
I'm sure I
50s?
did.
I just sent it in message in like yesterday.
Oh, the tab one? No,
No. No, it's about
I'll have
just
to look.
like all the rules and like expectations of the 50s,
I
but
don't know if I
like
did see it.
actually with videos of the 50s, and then the people talking about it are from like the 80s or 90s. Like you can tell because the video quality and their style and everything, like
Yeah.
you wouldn't know they weren't talking today. It's how far like
Really?
yeah, where it's like they've known and tried to like change certain ways of thinking for a long time, but we are
For
just
a long time?
fucking traditional that we're like, no, this is right. This is
Mm-hmm.
it. This is fucking
The
even though we
only
can
way.
yeah, they were saying in the 80s, oh, this is how that negatively impacted people, and this is how that and then
Ah,
it was that just kind of I'm like, there's of course that's why I'm only seeing these videos now because if they were broadly shared then people might be different now. But now,
yeah.
finally, because of the age of information, and I think that's why we're going to see the younger kids just be like, "Nope, like we can see
Mm-hmm.
that, and we can, you know,
Yeah. I'd rather
you
not for
know,
both of our sakes. It's not just me.
yeah,
I don't want to waste your time or money either. So, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna hit this next story here.
please,
So most of these will be from the person's point of view, just kind of the stories as they were told to me.
okay,
Some of them are shortened for time or reworded, but okay. This person says, I figured we'd go to dinner, and go bowling. Normal first date things. He instead took us to his sister's high school play. I had no idea it was Les Mis. It was 4 fucking hours. Met his whole family because they were all there. During intermission, he took me through the high school and showed me every locker he ever had. His car was filthy and piled with garbage. You can drive a piece of shit car, I don't care, but if your car is filthy on the inside, it's no bueno. There's that.
There's
Paints a
that.
picture for you.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if she
spoiler,
liked the guy before or not, you know, because if
yeah.
you already liked them, I think you give so much more leniency. But if you
Mhm.
don't, it's just
Um,
like,
Actually, Cody went with me to my sister's school play that was Les Mis when we were
yeah,
dating,
yeah.
and my whole family was there. But I think we'd been dating for a little while, and
I think right from when you guys
he did
started
not like
dating,
it.
though, you were both infatuated with each other, which is so it's different.
Yeah,
So even if he didn't like that, it wasn't going to be like a
it's
chase.
4 hours to
It's
sit in
not
the
going
dark
to
hanging out with each
chase
other.
him
It's good.
away. He's just, yeah, exactly. He's just gonna,
I do remember him like he had no idea what Les Mis was,
yeah,
and so like 10 minutes into the play, he goes, "Wait a second, they don't stop singing the whole time, do they?" I'm like, no.
no,
It's like, why would they do that? Like, because it's a musical?
yeah.
I don't know.
Welcome to
Good
musical.
question. I've never questioned it before, but I don't know. Okay, ready for the next one?
I am. Also, I love musicals.
I do too. I don't think it's a love that my husband will ever have, though, and that's okay. We can like
Yeah.
different things.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Um, Set up on a blind date with my friend's brother and another couple. Date decided we were going rock climbing. I've never been rock climbing, but I'm game. He tossed some gear my way with no explanation of how to use it. He got frustrated when he had to show me how to use it. Terrible teacher. Didn't explain anything well and asked, "How do you not know how to do this?" Totally ditched me on the bottom of the mountain while he climbed. Later asked his friend why it looked like I wasn't having any fun. So, yes, that's great.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
and I was going to jump ahead and just say the final story that I have is so bad, but we'll get there. Anyway. Okay, junior year of college, I went on a blind date set up by friends. A guy in his mid-20s picks me up, still lives with his parents, which is fine, but not for this guy.
uh-huh.
We were supposed to be making pizza and playing games. Didn't know that we'd be doing this at his parents' house with his entire family. Lots of drama with his siblings, including him having a massive argument with his siblings over a card game that we played after dinner. Ends up dropping me off at my place and lingering awkwardly. Goes in for a kiss, which I dodged. I just felt like an awkward family reunion.
Oh man, like it must be a Mormon or maybe a hyper religious thing, like where
Yep.
there's a focus on family. Because I'm like, I'm all about the family. Outside of like
Yeah.
now that I'm not religious, like I I am so close with
Family's
my
great.
like I yeah, I love it. I don't
But
always be
maybe
there.
not
But in
like
the beginning of a relationship though, like
not on the first date,
I'm
especially a blind date.
yeah, I'm not gonna expect that of them. I'm not gonna think that's a a
It's
thing they should
okay.
do. Yeah, but it
No.
seemed like a lot of people went straight for that. Like,
A lot
first,
of
I got to
people.
see
Maybe it's
how
a
you
comfort
align with
thing
the
where they're like,
family.
oh, I don't know if it's a comfort thing where they're like, okay, this is my home base. This is where I feel comfortable. I got some backup. I'm
Yeah,
feeling
but
good,
only
but
you have backup. So it's imbalanced. You're putting that other person in it. Like, they're not there to
which is
get to know
kind of what
you.
we
They're
did to
there to
that
get to
guy.
know
Whoops.
everybody. Which guy?
Yeah. The guy in the car with your nephew.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. Like I said, we're not innocent in this either.
No,
Okay.
no.
Told a group of people that I would go on a date with anyone. If they had the guts to ask me, I would give them the opportunity for me to get to know them. A guy took this as a dare and asked me out, fully expecting me to say no. I said yes. We were supposed to go out the next weekend. In the meantime, I got pneumonia and knew that he'd think I was just making an excuse not to go. So I said I'd still go, but asked if we could do something short and simple because I wasn't feeling well. He suggested that we get ice cream and walk around downtown. It was December and I had pneumonia. I suggested I suggested hot chocolate instead. It's that dang hot chocolate again.
Yeah.
That we could get any number of coffee shops around. Oh, we could get it at any number of coffee shops around. He refused because they were coffee shops, and he's Mormon. It's an un-Mormon thing to do. I suggested a
Oh,
diner, to which he disgustedly said, "But then I'd have to leave a tip." He decided his soul and wallet could withstand the Starbucks inside Barnes& and Noble. We spent a short time drinking our beverages until I disagreed with something he said. He stood up abruptly and said we'd better go. As I turned around to put on my coat, a gentleman sitting within earshot caught my eye and pointed to my date and shook his head. When he dropped me off, he asked if I wanted to go out again sometime, and I politely said no. And he said, "Good, I didn't want to have to take you out again anyway," and then stormed back to his car. Yes,
Oh,
well
yes.
done. Well,
Well
and they're
done.
married. No, they're not.
On not the last story, but the one before that, you had said spoiler alert, but then like
Oh,
I
yeah,
interrupted you. So what was the spoiler alert?
I don't remember. The one before that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
But yeah, I don't remember either.
Oh well,
Spoiler alert, there are no spoilers.
excellent.
Okay, here's another one.
Okay.
Blind date established ahead of time that we would go bowling and then out for ice cream. Lost my place. Turns out bowling sucks as a one-on-one date because you're never sitting at the same time. Not much room for conversation. Couldn't get more than 2 words out of this girl. Thought going for ice cream would be my saving grace. Got to the ice cream shoppy. Why do ice cream places always add the E at the end?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's still
They
just
do.
shop. Shop.
Shop. Shop. Got to the ice cream shop. And when she states, as if I should have already known, I don't like ice cream. She had 2 weeks to tell me before we went out.
Okay. Yeah.
So, this is also from a family member going on a double date to a high school dance. The other girl got held up at work and needed me to pick up her date as well as mine. Both dates were stoned out of their minds. Took them to the restaurant for dinner and had to read them their menus. I I paid for both of them because my friend hadn't made it back from work yet.
So she went on a
Drove to the
double date alone.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Basically. Drove to the dance where the guys were too stoned to leave the car. Danced by myself for a while and then drove both guys around contemplating my life choices until they were sober enough to take home to their parents. That is all.
Uh,
That sounds fun.
yeah. I wonder because so many of these are coming from like the culture we grew up in, and
Yeah,
like I wonder how many other people are going out to hot chocolate on their first date.
I
Or
think a lot. I
you
think a
think?
lot.
You think? I
Around
don't know.
here?
Around
Yes.
there, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But outside of that
Oh,
culture,
outside of that culture?
like
I
we're
don't know.
telling
People
these
go for
first date,
coffee.
yeah, coffee or a drink
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
I don't know, at least dinner or
just,
something.
yeah,
Whereas these are all like they're like almost like so short and sweet. Like it's just kind of like trying people on, but not really committing to even a dinner.
yeah,
Maybe that's why they're all so bad.
probably. There is a little bit of like the awkward culture that comes with Mormon type dating that I don't know if it will get conveyed as bad as it feels. But like with some of these, you know exactly the person they're dating. You know exactly the kind of person they're with, and you're like, oh, I have been on that date, and that sucks. Like, oh, it's so bad.
And when every date is really like with this ulterior, like, are
Mhm.
you marriage material? It can't even be
All right,
like, let's get to know you. Like, was it,
let's
because
just
if
go
there's
have some
this
fun.
other thing in the back of your head asking, are you marriage material? Like, you're going to pick apart like everything so hard. Like,
Yeah,
because I was like a teaser and stuff like that, I think in a way that I was pretty good at like chasing people away with my expectations and
not
my
the right ones. Can you imagine
true.
being with somebody who didn't want you to tease them right now? Like, that's, I don't know. I think that's a big part of your life.
It
They
is,
ha
it is, but
they
they
have
have
to
to
get
have
along
to
with you.
understand and get it and also
Mhm.
participate. Like it can't
Of
be a
course.
one-sided thing. Like I kind of want to be teased too. I
No.
think it's flirty. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Like like
Hmm.
help me make light of my situations instead of getting
Can you
mad or
deal with things
piling
with
it
humor?
on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Anyways,
Okay. Oh, I forgot to ask, do you have any other stories that like you want to
I really don't.
throw in here?
And I think
Okay.
that's because I got married so young, like
Okay.
go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. So getting married young, actually, yeah, because I don't have a ton either. I have a few kind of awkward ones. Like I went on a date with a guy that we were gonna go to dinner or something, but he was a real estate agent and he got two calls to go show houses like immediately. So I just went with him and he sold two houses and he's like, "Ooh, you're my lucky charm." And I'm like, "We're not getting a second date, dude." Like
Yeah, like, can I go
I,
home now?
I'm not really feeling this. No chemistry.
Um,
I don't have any
yeah,
problem going to work with somebody on a date, but it was before that I was like,
yeah. I feel like I was, or we even were like making dates. We were the ones making it awkward. We were the ones making the
"Oh yeah,
bad first date.
that is my superpower is making things awkward. I do that really well."
Because we would take people like the Sukalan, whatever, the Sean guy. Like we ultimately I think he had a good time. But
Hmm.
like that definitely could have been one of those like
This
bad,
was
bad
weird.
first dates.
Thank
Like
you.
these girls asked me out at a basketball game and then picked me up and didn't take me home all day. It took
I was kind of held hostage.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like when we did like a ropes course, we did like we he had a good time. But that could have been real bad. But yeah.
yeah, I've got a few. There's like my brain is pinging with like, oh yeah, and this one, and this
Oh
one, and this one.
yeah.
So I'll just keep going with the ones I have written down so I don't
Sounds
get
good.
ahead of myself here. Okay, went on a date with a geology major. He talked about rocks the whole time. Later that night, we were playing a game with his roommates, and one of the questions he was asked was, "What animal would you want to be?" And all of his roommates answered without hesitation, a rock. They just they said he would want to be a rock. It's not an animal, but they all knew. He's
I
got the
mean,
personality of a rock.
at least he's got a passion,
Hmm.
you know?
See, and all of these ones have been like fairly benign. Like, okay, that's dumb, or you had like a sucky date. But the
Yeah.
ones that are like scary are when the guys are like, okay, because I bought you dinner,
You owe me something.
you owe me something. Yeah. And the amount of people who gave me stories like that is way too many. Like
Yeah. Well,
one girl
even
talked
just
about
sorry, go ahead.
even just what? No,
I was
even
gonna
just
say,
what?
even just the date that you were reminding me of that we went on, the blind date for the guy for Nu
Yeah.
Skin or whatever, how it
We
got
were just watching a movie and thought he'd get all handsy and
yeah,
nasty.
just
And you, sorry, I'm talking over you. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. Just I think I was like I know I would say yes to go on a date, but I wasn't like a touchy-feely person. I was not putting out those vibes.
No.
So for him to be like just pushy and going for it was just it's just awkward and
And
just like why
us
do they
being
think
so
that's
young,
okay? Yeah.
if it happened now, I would have zero problem being like, "What the fuck are you
Yeah,
doing? Like, get out of here, douche
exactly.
canoe."
Yeah, but
Like,
instead we were
but
just
we were so young. It was
uncomfortable
just
and
like,
scared.
I
Yeah.
don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend him.
I know. See, now I'm like,
Oh,
offend him. He's
I can feel the
offending
vomit
you.
coming up.
Yeah, yeah. He's offending you right now. Fucking offend him. But
Yeah, he'll get
we
over
were
it.
not taught to do that.
Hmm. Ugh.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, one girl I talked to, she went to a haunted house with a guy on a blind date, and he kept trying to reach into her pants and get all sorts of touchy-feely. And I'm like,
Gross.
ugh, an asshole.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll skip
Yeah,
over
if
the
that's your
crappy
first
ones.
date, what's the rest of the time with this person gonna be?
Yeah, or guys that are like, I've heard about. There was one where the guy was like, "Oh, I heard about you. I know this is what you do on a date," and she's like,
The fuck I do.
"I think not,
Yeah.
right? No." Okay, but there are awkward dates that have happy endings. You ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, went on a date with a girl. We were going to play mini golf and then out for frozen yogurt. We got our clubs and balls. I go to pay and there's a problem with my card. I had checked the account to make sure that I had money despite being a broke college student, but my account was now frozen for some reason. She had to pay the whole evening and I spent the whole time worried sick about my account. Couldn't focus at all. Luckily, she stuck around for a second date, and we've been married for 7 years.
Cute.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, because stuff does happen.
It does. And if they stick around after a crappy date, it's a good sign, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Like you, like a lot of these, like you can still have a crappy date with someone who you end up with, but
Mhm.
like a lot of them, it was just because they probably didn't like the person in the first place. Like it's like his car was dirty. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people have dirty cars like that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, and yeah,
That could be
there's
worse
a,
things.
yeah, it depends on why it's dirty. If you've got like dirty diapers all over it, it's like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah. True,
But
true. Yeah. And it's indicative of probably how they keep a lot of things, but
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. My car used to always be spotless until kids,
I
honestly.
remember. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to give up on that one.
We try really hard to keep our car clean, but
Yeah.
not that long ago we were just, doing a regular vacuuming and we found like on our third row, somebody had stuffed like a whole bunch of French fries into the side pocket.
Uh,
Like it's this tiny little side pocket, but it had multiple servings of fries stuffed into the side. It's like,
and
why?
were they molded at all? Or were
No,
they like, yeah,
no, they were
yeah,
they were fossilized, but they were not molded. So, you know,
yeah.
mini blessings, I guess. All right. Date took me shooting with the 7 millimeter rifle and I scoped myself. You know what that is?
Is that when it comes back at you?
Yeah, you're like looking through the little peephole thingy and
Yeah. Probably should have had it on
anyway.
her shoulder, right? So that it would have.
Uh-huh. You don't put it right up against your eye because it'll kick back.
Yeah. I
No
don't think
bueno.
I've ever shot over. I used to have my concealed carry because Anthony liked to shoot sometime. I really don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It takes some getting used to. Like, yeah, it's not
It
like airsoft rifling or paintballing or something
Yeah,
where it's like
like those are fun, but shooting something that's just so destructive, like it's not like, yeah, I don't get
there's
that.
a little
That's
fear that goes
exciting.
with it. Yeah.
Exactly, which I think there should be a healthy fear, but I'm just like that. Like we have water guns and
Sucks the fun out of it.
I'll fuck some shit up with some water guns, but like real guns, I don't know.
Yeah.
They like always
Well,
make me uncomfortable, but I know how to use them if I
me too.
need to type thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still a little uneasy around them, but like my husband and my son will go shoot at the gravel pit, like
Yeah, yeah,
down the road. They'll set up some targets, blow up some stuff with tannerite. They
yeah.
have a good time. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Anthony would love that. I'll have to send him along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to insert a video of us blowing something up with tannerite because we did it the other day. It's pretty fun.
I don't even know what you're talking
Um,
about. What's tannerite?
Tannerite is this powder. You
Okay.
mix it up in this little jar and you put it far away as a target. And when you shoot it, it's like a movie scene.
Noise.
Okay, back to story.
Yes.
Okay, they took me shooting with a 7 millimeter rifle and I scoped myself, blood dribbling down my face, giant black eye for weeks. When my parents talked to my date, my mom said, I left her with you for one night. And my date said, good thing you didn't leave her for two. But they're now married and they have a super, super cute little kid.
But what did you mean by that?
Good question.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, anyway, they're
Anyway,
super cute.
awesome.
They have okay, and then the last story I have
Okay.
is from my little sister, and it's so bad.
It's a doozy.
It's a doozy, and it's so Mormon. But okay,
Of
okay. You remember Maggie, right? My little sister,
course I do. Yeah.
nicest person on the planet. Like
Yeah. She even
I
has
don't think
like the
she's
look
ever
of the
raised her
nicest
voice.
person. No, it probably doesn't raise. She probably physically can't raise her voice.
Can't
That's how
raise her
nice she
voice.
is.
So kind. Never says a mean thing about anybody. Like the girl's an angel, right?
Yeah.
So when she was in her mid-20s, she was at graduate school at BYU,
Okay.
and she would ride the bus to and from campus. And while she was on the bus, she would talk to this guy that was often on the bus. He was in a wheelchair. He was like 10 years older than she was. And, they had some good conversations and stuff. And so after a while, he asked her if she wanted to go get some lunch, right? She's like,
Mistaking her niceness for some sort of
probably.
interest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she wasn't super interested, but she's like, it's the Mormon thing. You're like, somebody asked you out. Sure, I'll go get some lunch with you, right? So they go to Zupa's, which is like a sandwich shop,
Hmm.
and they have lunch. And she's like, there was no real chemistry, no, beyond a little conversation, there was nothing there. So
Yeah.
she just kind of figured that would be it. But so after that date, he started calling her 5 times a day, and that 5 times quickly escalated into 10 times a day. And then, like, one day she clocked it at 50 times a day. Like, he would
Oh
just
my
call every half
goodness.
hour over
Yeah.
and over and over. And if you've ever been in a situation where somebody's
Stalkerish.
like that intent on getting you to talk to them and you just you feel sick. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like I don't know
Yeah.
how to get this to stop. I don't know what to do. This is creepy. This is freaking me out a little.
Yeah.
And so like she stopped answering, but there was a guy at her apartment one day when he was making these calls. And so she had the guy pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm Maggie's boyfriend. I need you to stop calling her, right? This needs to stop right now."
Yeah.
And she thought that would be it. Like it would be over. But she got called into the honor code office. And so at BYU, you are supposed to live by a set of standards. Like most of the honor code things are like you can't have boys in your apartment after midnight and they can never be in your bedroom. And like you need guys can't have beards and girls can't have like weird colors in their hair or, you know, it,
Or
you're,
show their
yep,
shoulders.
no shoulder showing, no short skirts or shorts. It has to like all everything has to be to these standards. And so she got called into the honor code office, which was really weird for her because
Yeah, because it's
she
Maggie.
is the
She is
honor
the
code.
honor god.
She is the honor code. So she gets called into this office and she's like, I don't know, I thought I was getting an award or something. But
You have won. You
anyway,
won the
you
honor
have
code.
won. You
You're
have won.
moving.
But this guy turned her into the honor code office for being
Oh,
dishonest
geez.
and unfriendly. And so, no, for real. So what they did was she's in graduate school. This is right before midterms. They froze her schooling. She was not allowed to take tests or anything
So
until
they
she
took
apologized.
his they just
They
took
took what?
his
Mhm.
word for whatever.
Yeah,
That's real
at
fucked
face
up.
value. And they
Yeah.
said until you apologize to this guy, your your accounts are frozen. You're not allowed to continue with your schooling. She's like, I'm not apologizing to this guy. Like there is nothing
Like
in
I
my
have
body
been
that says I should.
overly nice, way more than I should have been to this point.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so she said, instead of studying for my midterms like I had to, I wrote a carefully worded letter to the honor code office and sent it in. And she said they never contacted her again. Her accounts just became unfrozen and she just kept going to school. So she figured it was over after that, right?
Yeah.
And then his calls started coming again. And he just started calling her multiple times a day again. And she's like, I can't do this. I don't know what to do because like
Starts to creepy. I mean,
n
it's creepy. Like,
yeah,
what you're gonna
it's really creepy.
like you I don't know, you're obviously not of sound mind because you're doing something so freaking irrational.
Yeah. Well, she had gone out on a few dates with another guy that was at her apartment, and he was making all of these calls. And so the guy picked up the phone and he said, "What do you want from her? Like, what is it you're trying to accomplish with all of this?" And he said, "I just want her to have dinner with me." And in my mind, it's like, no, that's how horror movies are made. That's
Yes.
You don't go to dinner with the guy who's been harassing you. That's
Yeah.
no. And so she said no, but her date said, "I think you should go. I think you should go to dinner with this guy." And he said, "But I will come with you," right?
Okay.
And so she still didn't want to go, but they went and had dinner over at this guy's house, all The three of them at dinner. She said nothing happened, and he stopped calling after that.
Well, so I guess it
But
was good because she showed up with her date. So I guess
yeah,
she didn't have to go alone. Thankfully, he did that for her then, you know?
but still, she shouldn't have had. She should not have had to have gone.
No.
Period.
And she shouldn't have
Like
needed a guy to tell him to stop.
no.
Yeah.
Like that whole story makes me so angry. Like
Yeah.
for the school to freeze her whole account because
Yeah.
she was
Because
she was
he got
unkind.
his feel bads hurt. And like,
Well, he was okay. I left out an important part.
what's
He was
that?
10 years older than her, and he was not a student at BYU. He was part of the faculty somewhere.
Oh God.
Like I think if I understood her
So
correctly.
so that's
Anyway,
super cray cray. Yeah.
mhm, yeah. So I'm sure they believed
Well,
him.
it
Like
doesn't surprise me though, the type of stories I hear coming out of there. Granted, the only people who will listen to those type of stories are the people who already know everything's bullshit.
that's true.
Otherwise, you won't hear it because it's coming from an outside source, and so
There
it's
will
bad.
always
So
be
it's
a
bad.
reason.
And there will always be a
Hmm.
reason why it's okay, and but it's not.
She just misunderstood, or she led him on, or what were you wearing, or
Yeah,
any of
something.
those things. But be careful in your dating.
Yeah, yeah.
We're all gonna be, you
Especially
have
in the
to
Mormon world.
on the in the Mormon world. Yes, we
Uh,
yeah, we could do a whole we kind of
so
did, but we could do an even
I
bigger
never got a
podcast on
date outside
Mormon
of
dating.
that though. You know what I mean?
Me neither.
So
Me neither. We
I
were
don't know.
fairly typical
Yeah.
Mormon dating people.
Yes, we
And
were.
for the most part, it worked out for me because like you weren't pressured in a lot of ways. I mean, these are some extreme examples, but like in my dating,
Yeah.
mostly like the most uh I was pressured into was like a kiss. You know what I mean? It's like,
That's still not okay.
oh, it's
But
still not
yeah,
okay. But as
thankfully it
far as
didn't
like,
go farther. Granted, in that
hmm
culture, it is highly prevalent that it does go a lot farther. So,
hmm
you know,
yeah, yeah. No, my dating life was pretty benign and pretty smooth, and I have not too much in the way of complaints
yeah, I was more of a
besides
group
just being
dater.
silly.
Like I didn't,
Hmm.
so yeah, I think that like is what kept us in a lot of safer situations that we were always on
Yeah,
group dates. Which is,
true.
it's not a bad thing. Like that's definitely a heavily like Mormon idea. And I'm like, I think that's kind of a good thing when you're younger.
Really,
Because
is it just Mormon? Like,
I've
do
never
people not
heard
do
it.
group dates?
I've not heard it like pushed or talked about outside of that ever. So I don't know. It could be.
Well, that was a rule I set up for my kids when they first started dating.
Hmm.
I was like, you have to go on group dates first. And my daughter's like, that's not a thing I will be doing. And so we butted heads a little bit on that. But
Yeah. But I mean, I don't I I think like when you're first starting dating someone, like there's a lot of value to that because it takes a lot of pressure off of like that one aspect of it. And the whole like
yeah,
the pressure for like romantic love, like you've got to find this person versus just like get to know these,
just go
really
have
get to know
fun.
these people, just go have fun. Like you don't have to be trying to close the deal. Like that's what everybody's told they're supposed. No, you're not. No, you're not. Just
That's not the
get
end goal for everything.
no, like it'll happen and it'll be fun and it'll be awesome, but it'll be a hell of a lot better if you like get to know them
If
and
you find
really
out you
want,
like the
yeah.
person before,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Not
amazing
a
how
bad
that
thing.
works.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what I'll do. Like my Bella right now, like only is ever with groups just naturally because she has a large friend group and they like boys
Do
and
stuff.
girls. They'll sleep over at my house, like a large group of them. Like it's and in that way it does feel kind of safe because just so many little kids just kind of like I don't know, having fun, playing video games, being kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good. We put a ban on the sleepovers, which was sad because we had so many fun sleepovers growing up. Like
Yeah. But
they were
I can
awesome.
understand where you're coming from. Our sleepovers, like we didn't do sleepovers for quite a while. Like our
Yeah.
girls at the ages they are now, we feel comfortable because we feel like we know where they're going, and I feel like I
Yeah.
feel like they would talk to me, and I feel like
Yeah.
they know they've been given like a set of boundaries, kind of like
Hmm.
the whole like there are no secrets and there's nobody else
Yep.
that has any type of rights or anything to your body. And if anybody makes you uncomfortable in any way, like
I
it's
will
okay.
believe you.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not running with the same set
Excuse
of
me.
rules I was. And they also, I don't know, we're pretty involved. And also the answer is it's always yes if it's here.
Yeah.
If it's not, then it's a discussion. But that was something my
But if it's
parents
at our
did, which
house,
I loved because then I got to have a lot of sleepovers in a safe way.
it's true.
And when I slept other places, because I'd had certain experiences as a kid, I was so fucking petrified, anyways, because I knew it was a possibility and I just assumed it was going to happen. And so I just couldn't sleep. I would just like wake up multiple times through the night. Just, I didn't want to be there. I always wanted
Yeah.
to be home. So
Hmm.
even if I was in a perfectly safe situation, it just always felt better
Except
at
in my
home.
house, because it was,
No, well, that's in high school. It got different.
yeah,
It's different then. Like, I don't know.
when you're old enough to
Yeah,
take care of yourself.
I guess. Which I guess that's where my girls are now that I feel like, I don't know. But up
Yeah,
like
that makes sense.
Elena right now, like she's not going anywhere
No.
until she can communicate with me and can set her own boundaries and stuff like that. I'll be the one doing that for her. And her boundary is that no, no, we
It's a
don't do
no
that
for
yet.
me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, well,
No, that
I
sounds
gotta
good.
go because I got people throwing stuff underneath the door at me. I just
All right. Well,
and then a text.
got it.
uh,
Okay, go
but
be a
thanks for
mom.
this. No, thanks for the stories. It's funny how
Those
I
are,
mean, just I don't know. Like if I looked up like stories of bad dates online, I wonder how
uh-huh.
different it would be from just like these personal experiences of our little world that we grew up in and dated
Oh,
and
they're everywhere. Everybody has crappy dating experiences.
yeah.
So
I
this
I
is
just
this
wonder
is a
how
slightly,
different they're gonna be. Like, or maybe it's all just the same everywhere. Anyways, that's
there's
all.
aspects that are the same, but yeah, everybody's different. But tell Bella good luck on her twirling,
Oh
and
yes, I will.
we will see
Team
you next time.
USA. Yeah.
Team
I'll send you lots of
USA.
pictures.
Awesome.
Love you. Bye, Liz. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.